It's time to put that hand to what will move you forward. We're not looking back, and there ain't no stopping us now. What awaits you is right in front. It's something new, and it's just for you. So join me for that new thing, starting now on A New Thing Live. Hello and welcome. I'm so glad that you are here. Welcome to A New Thing Live. My name is Cyndi Greene, and I am the host of this fun, I still call it a new show. It's a new show to me. So it's a fun new show where we really inspire and encourage you to doing that new thing that's in your heart. There's so many things that God has deposited into each and every one of us. And if we would just listen, hello, are you listening? If we would just listen to our heart, and then have a little bit of courage to do it, then we would be accomplishing so many wonderful things for the kingdom and for the people around us. And so that's what this show is about. I'm excited about tonight's guest. She's doing some amazing things. Y'all are going to be so inspired and encouraged. We just need that little bit of a push. And when you see somebody else doing something amazing, it lets you know, oh, you know what? She's doing it. And look at the resources and look at how that started for her. I can do it. And the thing is, you can do it. That's why it's in your heart to be done. So I'm so glad that you're here. If you're joining us for the first time, I want to welcome you. If you've been with us every week, I'm so glad that you're here. If you're on YouTube, Facebook, and all of our Roku, hello. We're so glad that you're joining us today. For those of you that are on Facebook and YouTube, you already know this is an interactive show. So let us know where you're watching from. Jump in the conversation, join in, encourage our guests, just be all up in our business. Okay, that's what we want. We want to know that you're watching. We want to hear from you. Sometimes we put your little comment on there, but we're just so glad that you're here with us today. So today is the 1st of August. What in the world? It's like, really, it is Merry Christmas now. Christmas time is here. It really is here. I just finished watching all my Hallmark in July. So, but truly, I am just flabbergasted that we are already in August. It's really a year that's moved quickly, and I really hope that every one of you guys are doing well, that your families are well. There's a lot going on in our nation and in our world, so we really do want the best for you. We always tell you guys that, we're here for you. I don't want you to feel like you don't have anyone you can share. You can always email us. You can always DM us. We're still in the middle of our 31 Days of Wisdom on Instagram Live every day. I don't know when I pop on, but I do. And it's live, and we get into the book of Proverbs, which in my opinion really is the wisest book on earth. Finances, relationships, eating, minding your own business, keeping your mouth shut, not meddling in affairs that are not yours. I mean, the book of Proverbs is so full of wisdom. So in any way that we can help and resource you, that's what we want to do. And that's who we are. So I want to talk a little bit before we jump in tonight. We always like to talk about our holidays and not just Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving, but I love celebrations. I am a party girl. Before I knew Jesus, I was a party girl. And now I'm still a party girl. I love to party. I love reasons to celebrate. And even in the middle of things, y'all know that I've been going through some stuff. A lot of you know that my dad recently passed away. So I have these hard times where I'm crying and sobbing, and my family's the same way. But then there's the moments where something funny will happen or lighthearted, and we just chuckle. It's because it's who we are. And we want to be that way with you and for you. We know that you're going through some stuff. So if we can help in any way lighten your load or bring a little bit of joy, that's what this show is all about. So I'm so glad that you're here. So what's going on this week? Let me tell you what's going on this week. We've got some fun, there's a lot of national days actually, but I'm only going to mention the few that really popped out to me. Okay, so we've got today is National Girlfriends Day. So yes, it's a day to celebrate your girls. So if you've got your little posse, your little tribe, and if you haven't reached out to them, reach out to them even now. Pull out your phone. If you're if you're watching the show on your phone, don't do it just now. Maybe you wait till after we're doing the show. But if you're watching it on smart TV or your laptop or your computer, then yes, pull out your phone and just say, hey, love you so much, and tell them why they mean a lot to you. That's today's National Girlfriend's Day. The 4th, this week is National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day. So we give you permission to go and get your favorite chocolate chips. Now, here on our show, we've had True Vine Bakery, which was Celeste. She came on, Celeste Vios, and oh my goodness, she had me eating her. I am not a huge chocolate chip cookie girl. So the fact that I was like loving these cookies, I wanted to bring out my cafecito and have it with that. I was like, girl, like you do something amazing and special. So wherever that is for you, find that place. But we do have her little picture here, True Vine Bakery. We're going to put it in the chat room for those of you, if you're in the SoCal area, then we want you to reach out to True Vine Bakery because we love Celeste. And then this week also, National Fresh Breath Day. Okay. Can y'all say yes? Amen. Yes, we all need to have that fresh breath. And sometimes we don't. We know that it's a thing that sometimes breath don't be smelling as good as we would like for it to. So here are some little tips. I stepped on to the national calendar, and here are some things that they said can help you to keep fresh breath. Brushing your teeth after meals. Okay, I don't do that. I brush my teeth in the morning and at night. I do not brush them in between meals. I'm just saying, I'm telling on myself. But I do throw gum in my mouth. But sometimes I think I eat a lot of garlic. So I don't even think that the gum, I love my Cuban food. That's got some good, my Mediterranean, they've got lots of garlic in there. So I don't think the gum really helps as well as it should. Flossing before bedtime. Flossing before bedtime. I do like to floss. I have floss in my car and of course at home, but I usually floss in the morning. I don't usually floss at night. Or if I see something weird or green, I have these like little pockets and then I got to get it out. Gargle and rinse with mouthwash regularly. If you do that, I want you to tell us in chat because I don't do that. And I want to know who you are. Do you do that? Do you gargle and rinse regularly? Okay. See, 3 of us, 0 out of 3 do that here. Okay. So if you do, I want to know who you are because that's real. That's real. I want to know. I'm going to give you a high five. Chew sugar-free gum to keep the mouth moist, which, I like my gum. My bestie doesn't like gum. My sister doesn't like how I smack my gum, but I like my gum, and it is sugar-free. It's extra. Stay hydrated, which I think that's for everything, right? And then seeking regular dental care. If you don't have dental insurance or different plans and things that some of these dentists will work out with you. So don't go, well, I don't have a dentist, so I can't do that. No, you should be doing that on a regular basis. So those are some ways to help keep your mouth nice and fresh. Fresh breath. We need to do that. So that's National Fresh Breath Day. And let's see what else. There was another one that I thought was, is Grab Some Nuts Day. That's on the 3rd. Now Pat's looking at me like, what? I love walnuts, almonds, macadamia nuts. So that's always a better choice than like bread. Sometimes it's like, so maybe that could be the day where you go, I know I need to lay off the bread. So lay off the bread and just grab the nuts on the 3rd. And then that might get you into a good habit. So, okay, let me see if there's any other day that oh, yes, National Sisters Day and also National Friendship Day. That is the 7th. That is this week. So make some time to reach out to your sisters, maybe a fun little digital card, and the same thing for friends. I did that for National Aunt and Uncle Day. I reached out to 2 of my aunts, my only 2 aunts that are left. I didn't reach out to my uncle, so maybe this week I can do that. But I really like these days because it kind of inspires you to do things that you think about doing, but you just don't make the time to do. And I really am trying to be more intentional about making the time for the people and the things that really do matter. So that's where we landed with that. So I wanted to share that. Okay, so we have a phenomenal guest coming on the show tonight. You will be so inspired. This woman is courageous, to say the least. That's not even the best word that I can use to describe her. But we're not going to bring her out just yet. So we've got a real quick message from A New Thing Live. So do not go away, because we will be right back after this message.
It's an all-new Season 2, bringing you now more than ever before. You'll be inspired.
Welcome to A New Thing Live. And Italian food is a comfort.
Oh my goodness.
Not a rapper.
It's okay, honey. It's okay.
You'll
I
be
have a soul.
strengthened.
It's in there. You just can't.
You just can't find it. But I have one. It's in there.
It's in there.
We get real.
That you had mentioned is that you help people get to their next best place in God. But while they're turning, well, I couldn't do it.
And we have fun. We're going where we've never gone before, and we're inviting you to come along.
It's A New Thing Live. We get real, we get raw. It's a little bit of crazy, but a whole lot of fun. Come and join us on Monday nights, where you will be strengthened to do that new thing that's in your heart to do. And subscribe today to A New Thing Live.
Yes, so do subscribe. If you've not yet subscribed to our channel, then just do it. Just don't say, oh yeah, I'm going to do it at the end. No, do it now, like right now, subscribe. And then you're going to be in the know, the times that we go live. And then sometimes I do like little things in the morning. And I just am always looking for ways to inspire people. I know that I need to be inspired. And I have people that I go to, I need to be strengthened sometimes. And I'm just feeling like, And so that's what we wanted. We want to be that happy place for you just to come. We're not going to get all crazy with our opinions. And I mean, sometimes I'm a little opinionated. Yes, I can do that. And I am that. But really, this is a safe place. So do subscribe and be a part of our New Thing Live family. Okay, so I'm so excited to bring tonight's guest on. You hear about people that are doing things that are really impacting people's lives in a powerful way. And our guest tonight is doing that very thing. She's had more than 10 years of experience in California criminal justice reform. The former program director for the Place for Grace, which is a nonprofit organization that works to provide family reunification during incarceration, and also the former communications manager for Restore Justice, a nonprofit organization that focused on restorative justice. In 2017, she co-founded Fuel, Families United to End Life Without Parole. Powerful, in California. This organization provides support and a platform and advocacy for families whose loved ones are serving a life without parole sentence, which is also known as death by incarceration. Wow. As the wife of a survivor of life without parole, her husband survived this sentence. She has more than 20 plus years of personal experience with the harsh realities of the sentence. And she's here tonight to talk to us all about it. Would you please help me welcome the courageous, the brave, I'm even going to say the fiery Sutina Greene. Welcome her to A New Thing Live. This is the long version because we wanted you're all like, that's long. It's because we've done the one in the past where it's so short that we're still bringing stuff on on the set. Sutina, welcome.
Thank you
oh my
so much.
Goodness, girl, you are so amazing. I am so encouraged already. I'm just hearing your story, talking with you even before we filmed tonight. I'm so glad that you're here on our show.
Thank you for having me. This is such a blessed opportunity to share my story and hopefully encourage others.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, yours is a powerful story. So you helped not only co-found this powerful organization that helps to advocate for those that have been sentenced like life without parole.
Right.
But in you doing that, you also helped to free your husband who had that very sentence.
Yes.
Talk to us about what was it that spearheaded this whole thing to begin with? Because He was not your husband when he went into prison,
He was not.
right? He was not. So talk to us about that story. What is it that landed him behind bars to begin with?
Okay. So Stephen and I are junior high school sweethearts.
Mm.
We went to junior high school together. In 1992, a murder had happened. He fell under murder robbery. So the technical term is the felony murder rule. So basically, under the felony murder rule, you can get a life without parole sentence, even if you are not the shooter or the person who committed the harm,
Causing the death.
causing a death.
Mhm.
And so for my husband,
Who was not your husband at the time.
he was not my husband at the time. So we had dated junior high school. We had split up, and then this incident happened.
Okay.
This, horrible
Sure.
crime had happened, and so someone was murdered and robbed, and my husband and his co-defendant were both charged with life without parole.
Even though they had nothing to do with what actually happened.
Right.
They were a part of the party.
So with felony murder, it doesn't matter if you don't know or you do know.
Mhm.
Basically, if a felony happens and then an underlining felony, so a murder happened and then a robbery happened, that's how the felony murder rule happens.
Wow.
With those who were not directly involved.
Mhm.
So, for example, we're going to the liquor store.
Mhm.
You get out. I think you're just going to go buy a soda.
Mhm.
You go in. You go to rob the person you shot and killed. You get back in the car. I have no idea what's happened, and we take off. And then I would be charged with murder, even though I didn't commit the crime, and I
Yeah.
had no
Right.
inclination that was going to happen.
And
So-
and that happens. I mean, I'm just even telling on myself. There was a season when I was a cheerleader at Rio Hondo College. I ran with some crazy people, and I had a situation very similar. It was not murder, but there was a crime that was done, and I was in the car, and now next thing I know, the police are knocking at they found me, and I'm like, well, I was in the car, but I didn't even know that was going to happen. So. Yeah.
So he was sentenced under the felony murder rule in 1992. He served almost 28 years in prison.
Wow.
So when he was sentenced to life without parole, his sentence was he was supposed to die in prison. He was never supposed to be. That's what
Life outside.
Life without parole is you don't go to the parole board. You're going to die in prison.
Wow.
We fortunately were blessed. So in 2001, we rekindled our relationship. So
let's see.
Yeah.
Oh no, we don't have the picture of that. You showed me the picture of that
Yeah.
because I know you
Yeah.
sent me some pictures, but okay, it wasn't that one.
So in 2001, we rekindled our relationship. So during that 10-year break, I had gotten married. I had 3 children. Unfortunately, that marriage failed. And so I knew Stephen was incarcerated, so I started writing him. I started visiting, and we rekindled our relationship. Stephen's my first love, so I've always had a place in my heart for him. And then
what high school? What school did you guys?
We went to Hamilton Junior High
Okay.
and Long Beach Jordan.
Oh, okay.
So we grew up in Long Beach.
Yeah.
So we rekindled our relationship, and we ended up getting married while he was incarcerated. So we got married in 2004.
I think we got a picture of that. Look
So
at that. Oh my
just
goodness.
babies.
Wow. Itty bitties. How sweet. So
So-
this picture was taken when he was still in prison.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
So I married him knowing that he was never going to come home. And for me, that's a big decision to make.
Sure.
But for me, I loved him and was willing to make that sacrifice. I knew this was what my life was going to be, visiting prison every weekend. But I knew I loved him and wanted to stand by his side.
Wow, that's love right there. I know. I'm like, got a lump in my throat right now. Hold on. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So we got married. While he was incarcerated, we ended up having 2 children. We have 2 daughters. Our oldest daughter is 19, and then our youngest daughter is 16. And so, it was hard. That was a conversation we had about, having children and is that fair? But, we both agreed like, this is something that we really wanted, and we were going to just let our kids know how loved and how much, they're wanted.
Yes.
And so, we did our best parenting while he was incarcerated. So
Did you have a support system helping you?
yes, my sister was my biggest supporter and advocate. My friends were, my mom, my mom, she remembers him as,
when y'all were younger.
This boy who would leave hickeys on her daughter's neck and was like, I don't like him. But
are those still a thing now? I don't even know.
But then when I told her we were going to get married, she came around and she's been supportive. She would send him packages for Christmas and his birthday. So yeah,
Wow.
Yeah. So my family has been supportive
of both of you. I love that. So what was it then? So, you married him, the love is rekindled and you make this huge decision that this is a man I'm going to marry and he's never going to come out. What was it that triggered you to do what you're doing now?
So I think obviously, him having a life without parole sentence, I wanted him home, not only for me, but for our daughters and for him.
Yeah.
And so.
Right. Because in a sense, well, not in a sense, he was wrongfully in there, but then also wrongfully in there for life. I'm like, that still baffles me that somebody could be in prison for something they didn't do and that they're given life without parole. Like there's not even a chance that you're going to ever even come up in front of anybody.
For me, I wouldn't, and maybe I'm wrong for saying, I wouldn't say that it was wrongful for him to be put in prison. I think the sentence did not match, but he did have a part to play, and so, but I don't think his part should have been given life without parole.
Right.
So for me, it was more like trying to advocate for him, early on in his prison sentence, he wanted to better himself, even though he knew he was never coming home.
Wow.
So he was taking any self-help groups that he could. He took education. So he went to college. He earned 6 AA degrees while he was inside. He, so any opportunity that he could, and, he wasn't getting into trouble. He just was like, I'm going to better myself and better those around me. So, so he did a lot of work while he was inside. In 2012, I believe, laws started changing.
Okay.
And so SB 9 was for people who were under the age of 18, getting rid of life without parole. So basically they were resentenced and had an opportunity the judge to resentence them and then go to parole board. Because my husband was 18, he did not qualify.
Okay.
And so that was a little devastating because I'm just like, oh, so.
Wow.
Then.
And he was 18.
He was 18, 3 months. He had turned 18, the incident happened. His birthday's in October and the crime happened in January.
Wow.
So, and so, I was just like, there's got to be, laws are changing, so maybe something will happen. But it always seemed to exclude everyone 18 and older.
Yeah.
Then SB 260 happened. That was not for LWOP, life without parole. That was for people who had life sentences, but it gave them an opportunity to go to the parole board sooner than SB 261, which was for 24 and under were able to go. And then,
but he still didn't qualify because
so
he wasn't life sentence. He was life without parole.
Yes. Then SB 394 happened. So SB 394 gets rid of juvenile LWOP. So anyone under the age of 18, so 17 and under, the law is in California, you can no longer sentence anyone and give them a life without parole sentence if they were under the age of 18.
Wow. Okay.
Obviously, he didn't qualify. So for me, in 2017, I co-founded Fuel, Families United to End LWOP, with 5 other family members. A couple of them were wives, a couple were sisters, and one was a mother. And then Jerry Silva, who she had a Fair Chance Project. So we're like umbrellaed under Fair Chance Project. And so we came together and we formed Fuel. And our thing was we have to figure out a way how to end life without parole. So that's where my advocacy really began is, I was like, there's got to be a way. I've got to fight for my husband.
I love that.
And so in 2018, 2017 was when Fuel started. Governor Brown at the time, he started doing commutations. So commutation is where the governor has the discretion to resentence someone. You don't have to go through the court system. The governor can say, with all of you been, all the good that you've been doing and bettering yourself, he's going to resentence you and give you. So commutations just started. There was 3 former life without parole people who were granted clemency commutation.
That had to have given you a lot of hope.
Yes. That gave me a lot of hope because I told my husband 3 people who had life without parole were granted commutation. And so my husband's like, there has to be some kind of political, because that just doesn't happen. And then a few months later, he granted more people with a life without parole sentence. So I told my husband, you need to apply for a commutation. And I think my husband, he was very like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to get my hopes up, And I think the persistent wife that I am, the nagging, I was like, you need to apply. You never know what's going to happen. And so,
because if there's that small chance that it's a yes or that it's in your favor,
right,
then it's been worth it.
Right.
So
he, we hired an awesome lawyer, Tracy Lum. Because I was not sure how to file a commutation that, they were so new. So we hired her, she got a whole commutation packet together. It was like this thick, just full of everything that he's been doing. We filed a commutation in 2018. May 2018, we submitted. He ended up getting an interview in July
of that year.
So like 70 days later, he got an interview. And so we're like, oh my God, this is like,
I got
this
goosebumps.
might happen for us. And so August, Governor Brown announced commutations and Stephen was not on the list. And I was devastated. I was like, oh my gosh. A good friend of ours, they were commuted. And so I was so happy for them. But at the same time, it was just so hard because, you want that for your family. And so I was like, this was the last year Governor Brown was in office. So I was like, okay, he seemed to do commutations during holidays. And so I was like, well, Christmas is going to be our last shot, hopefully. Thanksgiving, Governor Brown came out with commutations. And Stephen was on the list. So, our prayers were answered. And so, November of 2018, he was commuted. He went to board May of 2019, the first time he ever went to the parole board, and he was found suitable. And so September 21st, 2019, he was released from prison after serving almost 28 years.
Oh my goodness. I'm so
me
happy.
And our daughters went and picked him up.
He
was out in the desert. So, it was like a 4-hour drive there, a 4-hour drive back. So
what prison was he in?
He was at Ironwood State Prison.
Okay.
So that's in Blythe, California.
Okay.
So that's like almost to the Arizona border.
Okay. Look at that. And the girls just, oh my goodness.
So our daughters are super happy.
Oh, yes. I can imagine. Wow. What a journey. What a fight. So many things, that as I'm listening, because I think sometimes, we're in this situation and or things that are just very devastating to our loved ones, but you did something about it. Sometimes you could just be like, oh, I can't believe this is my situation, but then we don't do anything about it. We just stay devastated and we remain defeated. I mean, this was no small thing that you did. Like you initiated something that set your husband free and pulled him out, but now you're doing the same for other people.
Yeah.
And now your organization, and through, you said, Fair Chance Project, just so powerful, so beautiful, and so needed.
Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you. I've got family members that are in, they are unfortunately doing things that are landing them in prison, but it just really brings me such like joy and inspiration to see that there are people that are out there. You guys are out there advocating. You're out there you're in Sacramento.
Yes.
Out there, so talk to us a little bit about like what that looks like as well.
So, this picture right here was in Sacramento. This is before my husband came home. We were advocating for, so in the state of California, there are over 5,200 people serving a life without parole sentence.
52,000.
5,200.
Oh,
5,200. Yeah.
Oh no.
Over 5,000 people in the state of
A
California.
500,000
are serving life without parole.
Oh my goodness.
So
that gave me goosebumps, but not in the good way.
Yeah. So, and when you look at statistics of life without parole, most of them were, the average age for someone who gets a life without parole sentence is 19 years old. They are predominantly the Black and brown community are the ones that are sentenced to life without parole. And so, like for us, my husband's home now, but for me, my fight doesn't end.
Yeah.
There are so many people that are deserving of the same opportunity that my husband received.
Yes.
And I know a lot of people are like, well, they hurt someone, they should be in prison for the rest of their lives, but we're all about second chances. Like we all have done things, whether we were caught or not, that have hurt people.
Yeah.
Obviously, maybe not killing someone, but like harm has been done to people. And a lot of the people who are incarcerated have come from very traumatic childhoods.
Sure.
Whether it's sexual abuse, physical abuse, parents not in the home, drug abuse, etc. So, I'm a firm believer in second chances.
Yeah.
I think everyone is redeemable.
Yes.
God constantly gives us second chances.
Yes.
And third and fourth chances.
Every day he does.
And so, like, if we could only just have that little bit of forgiveness and compassion that God has given us.
That's so good.
For these people inside, they deserve that. The Department of Corrections and the prison system is not a rehabilitative. It is a punitive system.
Sure.
And it's not a system that, this system was built for this. It wasn't, they always say, well, the system is broken. The system has never been broken. This is how it was meant to be. And so for me, I just want to advocate.
That you're sharing that.
Yeah, I just want to advocate, like there's so many deserving people that have changed their lives around, who have gone in and spent 20 plus, 30 plus, 40 plus years incarcerated, but who can come out and be productive citizens like my husband, who can give back to the community, who can give, pay taxes. And, my husband currently is a full-time student at Cal State Fullerton.
Wow.
Spring of 23, he'll be graduating with his bachelor's in criminal justice.
Oh, wow.
And in December of this year, he's applying for his doctorate for UCI.
Wow.
So, he wants to, education is so important to him, but he wants to be able to become a professor, teach criminal justice, especially with the lived experience. Like there's so many people that give narratives that they've never experienced. And
Mhm.
so for him to be able to
Ooh,
do
yes.
that, I think is so impactful and powerful. So, you know,
So powerful.
my husband, thank God, you know, he advocates right alongside me. We
Mhm.
just got back a few months ago in June, actually last month. We went to Washington, D.C. We advocated for some juvenile justice bills with legislators at the Capitol.
I love that.
We actually are going to Sacramento next month, August 21st and 22nd. There will be a rally. Fuel is putting on a rally to support SB 300, which is a current bill right now with our legislators. So get out there, call your legislators and tell them to vote yes on SB 300. That is with the felony murder rule. So something that
Okay.
like my husband fell under, we need to get that passed.
Wow.
It's-
And you have information on that on your website as well.
Yes.
So I remember looking and seeing,
Mhm.
oh, okay, what's this?
Yes. So we're going to have a rally next month. So if you're
Okay.
in the Sacramento area, please feel free to come out and join us at the state capitol in support.
No, I love
Um,
that.
So yeah, we just we want to bring awareness. A lot of people don't understand what a life without parole sentence is.
Mhm.
You know, and like you said earlier, we call it death by incarceration because that's basically what it is.
Oh my goodness. You know, and I have to say, I don't even think I knew that life without parole was a sentence. I know of life sentence, but I had no idea that there were those that were being sentenced to life without parole.
Right.
Until knowing that I was going to have you here and, you know, just starting to do some research and everything. And I'm like, I can't believe this is even allowed or a thing. It's just crazy to me because it's, you know, you hear the stories about people being in there that didn't even do anything. It's like they were wrongly accused or
Yeah.
wrongly charged, or it was even the wrong person. It's like, that wasn't me. I was somewhere else.
Right.
You know, and so there's just all these different scenarios where if that person also is in that, it's like, how do they have a chance?
Right.
You know, so, you know, I love that. Again, it's so powerful what you've done. Now you co-founded, who was your other co-founder?
So Maria Moore, she is a wife. Her husband is serving 2 LWOP sentences and he's innocent.
Oh.
We have Valerie and Vicky Wong. It's a mother and then a sister. Their loved one is Sunny Wong. Then we have Glorimar. Why can't I think of Glorimar's last name? Her brother's incarcerated.
Okay.
And then Danae, her now ex-husband, he was actually commuted under Governor Newsom, so he is home. And he's thriving. He's right now currently in the master's program at Cal State LA.
Wow.
Doing amazing things.
Now, is this a school program that is, you know, in connection with, or is it just they're saying, I'm just going to go for it and I'm just going to apply, or is there something that helps?
Are you talking about for school and
individuals? Yeah,
education?
for school and education.
So certain prisons, institutions, so Lancaster State Prison has a contract with Cal State LA.
Okay.
So the people who are at Lancaster can earn their bachelor's degree.
Oh.
Where my husband was at, there was no bachelor's program. So
Okay.
he could only earn AA degrees with the community colleges.
Mhm.
So for him, he was just like, what's 1, what's 2, what's, you know, let me just
Yeah,
get
how
as
many-
many AAs as I
How
can
many
get.
AAs? You said you got a lot of AAs.
Yeah, he got 6. Yeah. So
I love that.
there's certain institutions that are now starting to have a bachelor's program. So
Okay.
they're contracted with certain schools so they can earn their bachelor's.
Okay.
So for
Wow.
us, my husband at the time was getting his AAs and then he was going to Adams State University, which
Mhm.
I had to pay for. So he was going to try to get his bachelor's through Adams State, but he was able to come home. So
Wow.
yeah, there's just so many like great organizations and great programs out there
Mhm.
that you know, help our formerly incarcerated community with jobs, with just reentry.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah, that's in itself, I think, is so needed. You know, like I was sharing with you earlier about, you know, my precious family member who almost all of his adult life he's been in. I think just how hard that must be to be in that atmosphere, that environment for all these years, and then to come out.
not knowing.
Right.
Yeah.
people
So like,
and just regular everyday.
right. It was, if you think like for my husband, he went at 18 years old.
Mhm,
He was only a son
mhm.
and a boyfriend, you know. Um, he came out of prison as a 45-year-old man who now is a husband and a
dad,
father
yeah.
and a stepfather. And, never having those roles or having positive role model figures.
Sure.
And so,
Wow.
it's a big adjustment for those who go in that young and come out,
Mhm.
in their 40s,
Wow.
to try to reacclimate themselves into society.
Yeah.
But they're doing it and they're
Yes.
successful.
Yeah, such a powerful thing. And I love just the community of people that you have. I know here there was a photo that we had there. Talk to us about what's going on there.
So this was our first strategic planning. It was the Drop LWAP
Okay.
strategic planning. So this picture is people from all over the state, as well as all different organizations within the state of California.
Okay.
And we were trying to figure out, strategically planning on ways that we can try to end life without parole.
Wow. There's something so powerful about people coming together and partnership, and I'm so glad that you're exemplifying that so powerfully. Sometimes somebody watching might have an idea, and sometimes it's so overwhelming where they may think, I could never do this on my own. Well, maybe not on your own, but how about grabbing others that are fighting for the same cause or that would like to see the same desired result that you want to see?
Right.
And then just taking those steps together to launch this. Is your organization, it's a nonprofit organization?
It is a nonprofit,
Yeah.
yes.
I mean, I'm sure that took some doing and going,
Right.
but some fuel
Yes.
was needed to get that done too,
Right. Yeah. So, we are, fuel is there to not only advocate and support, but to educate.
Yes.
So people who don't know about the sentence or want to know more about or how they can help, there's all that information.
Okay.
If they're wanting to donate towards the cause,
Yes.
for when we go to these rallies in Sacramento or doing these legislative visits to, our whole thing is to change hearts and minds. If we can change one heart or one mind,
Yeah.
we've accomplished something. So,
Yeah. So good.
So it's just making legislators aware.
Mhm.
It's making the public aware. The recidivism rate for someone who has a life without parole sentence who's come home is 0. Not one person who has had a life without parole sentence has recidivated. Those who have served a life sentence, so who have done a long amount of time, 15, 20, 25, 30 plus years, the recidivism rate is 1%.
Wow.
So people who have done a long term in prison don't want to go back. And they just want to give back to the community. They just want to be a normal person.
Yes.
Having a job, having a family.
Loving people, being
Right.
loved,
Yeah.
Wow, that's so good. So good. Okay, well, we want to share this information. And then, we did have a really cute picture of you and your hubby.
That was our
You said that was date night.
Yeah, that was our very first date night when he came home. We went to a comedy show.
That was your first date night. What city did you guys go see?
We went to the Irvine
Improv.
Improv.
Yeah.
No, I'm not sorry. Not Irvine, Brea. It was
Oh,
the Brea Improv.
Brea.
Yeah.
Yes.
He had never been to a comedy show. So, we had a great time. Lots of laughs and just feeling like adults and feeling like a normal married couple.
Wow. I just love that. I love, let me see, make sure we can get us back here. I just absolutely love your heart.
Thank you.
And I love your mission. I love your vision. And I pray that everyone watching does something to join the mission and vision of Fuel. And even me, I know my heart is just absolutely stirred. And I'm saying, Lord, how can I help? What can I do? And I know this is one of the things you can do is to help make people aware.
Right.
And so thank you for just coming in and being so transparent and sharing your journey.
Thank you.
But it's powerful, what you're doing. And so we're going to be praying for you.
Thank you. I
And
appreciate
for you
that.
specifically, for your husband and for your organization.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Continued favor, strategy that can only come from the Lord. Again, the fact that you just pushed, somebody may have said, you know what, he didn't get granted, what we were hoping. And so that's it. And you guys still pushed through. And now you have him home with you.
Right.
Yeah. So thank the Lord for that. Okay. Well, let's make sure we get your information here because I do want everyone to be able to know how to find your organization. So Fuel Families United to End Life Without Parole. The website is fuelwap.org. Fuelwap.org. And there's so many resources on there. You want to talk a little bit about the resources? There might be somebody watching that's like, well, what kind, I say, oh, there's a form for, information about clemency, all these things. I go, oh my goodness, they have so much information on here. So
Yeah.
good.
I
Find your legislator.
Yeah.
The legislative tracker.
So if you don't know who your legislator is, you can type in your address and it'll tell you who your legislators are, your senator and your assembly person. It's so important, like for bills that come up with, within the criminal justice reform. Right now, like I said, SB 300 is what we're pushing.
Mhm.
So right now, we're still in our legislative cycle.
Okay.
They should be voting on August 3rd.
Mhm.
So that's like the end of this week.
Yes.
And so it's super important. Like if you want to help support, go to the legislative tracker, see who your assembly or senator is,
Mhm.
call them and tell them that you support that and that you're a constituent and you want to, that
Okay.
you're supporting it and for them to vote yes on that bill.
And that's all that we have to do.
Yeah.
Just pick up the phone
Yeah.
and
You'll be able
call
to
our
call.
legislator
Mhm.
and say,
You can
I
either-
support SB 300.
You
Okay.
can call them at the Sacramento office or even the local office and where you live.
Okay. Very good.
We have resources on how to file a commutation, what kind of forms you need to do to file a commutation. It's really simple. We have trying to think of what other resources there's so many resources.
You had so many on there. Let's see here. You have, commutation.
Commutations. medical releases. So
Mhm.
for people who are elderly or who you can apply for like a medical release.
Well, that will get you out to have your medical needs taken care of, and then you come back in.
It's a different. There's a couple of different. So compassionate release is a little bit different. That's for
Okay.
people who are on hospice who are dying. Compassionate releases are a little bit harder to get.
Okay.
And I'm not sure why. It makes no sense. Like obviously, if you're dying, you are not a threat to society.
Sure.
So you should be able to go home and die peacefully in your own
And
home
humanely.
or with family.
Yeah.
Yeah, humanely.
Mhm.
But instead, like a lot of them, they make it such a long process that people don't even get to the end of that process.
Oh.
Medical releases is more just, I guess it's a little bit similar, but
Mhm.
yeah. So there's more information on the medical releases and stuff like that.
And I know that you're passionate about that as well, because I did see a photo of you and you were not lobbying, but kind of like protesting. Was this out in front of the prison?
This was out in front of California Institution for Men in Chino.
Okay.
This was in the COVID, when like the high point of COVID. There were, I can't remember the numbers, high 20s, early 30, low 30s of people who were incarcerated who died of COVID while being incarcerated. The medical and healthcare was not being provided
At all.
At all. They were mixing people who were positive in with people who weren't positive. It was just a nightmare. And so
That is a nightmare.
I was at the prison. Our Fuel was there.
Look at you, girl. I love that.
You see the sign in the back, you can't get well in a cell. So.
And your husband was already out.
He was out. My husband was at this rally with us.
I love that.
Advocating.
What does he think about all this? that you're doing this. I mean, now he's out, but now you're.
And luckily, he's standing alongside me in this fight. So
Yeah,
I know,
love that.
he tells me that he's proud of me. I'm proud of him.
Mhm.
Like, not to toot my own horn, but I feel like we are a power couple and
Yes,
we got
you
this.
are. That's what I was in my head. I'm like, well, they're a power couple.
We're fighting together on, to try to end this inhumane sentence and
Yes.
just shining light on it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't know
Yes.
or don't understand.
Sure. Well, thank you just for coming
Yeah.
and shedding light so that we can understand and that we can get behind you and behind SB 300. So SB 300, make the calls this week because she said by August 3rd. And
They're
so,
voting on it.
yeah, so we just really have tomorrow, the 2nd of August, really is just the phone,
Yeah,
right?
you can 2nd and the 3rd.
And
You
the
can
3rd.
still
Okay,
call
on the
on
3rd. Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
So let's make those phone calls and we will put information up on our not only on our website, but also on our social media, my own personal social media, and I'll be posting as well. So, and then of course, please, follow them on Instagram as well.
Facebook, Instagram,
okay.
Twitter.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll have to add all of that information too.
Yeah.
So that people can follow you on all of those different platforms. But come on, guys, let's get behind what fuel. You call yourself fuel. I always want to say fuel WAP.
No, yeah, fuel.
But let's get behind fuel and behind their vision and their mission, and let's just we are better together. We already know this, but the more of us that get in there, the more of us who are vocalizing and we're using our hands, our mouths, our minds to get behind this powerful mission. What a powerful thing that even with your team, like your little Gideon's army. Your husband was released and now he's a part of, society. And I love that. That's so beautiful. But there's more. There are more that also need to have that same opportunity and
There's
be
over
given.
5,000 more. That
Oh
same
my
opportunity.
goodness. I cannot believe that. I was thinking 52,000. You said no.
5,200. Yeah, 5,200.
That's 500,000. Wow. Well, sis, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
This has been wonderful. My heart has been stirred. My heart's been strengthened. I pray that you're strengthened in whatever it is that you want to do. Do you see like this living testimony of like a woman who said, I'm going to just not only have a heart, but I'm going to do something about it. And you educated yourself. You banded together with other people. You had to take the steps to do whatever you needed to do, to fill out the forms you needed to fill out. I'm sure all of those things at some point were either intimidating or, oh my goodness, I can't believe all that this is taking. But now look at the fruit of that,
Right.
And the fruit will continue to multiply. Yeah. So is there something that you would like to say to encourage a person that they feel like there's something that they want to do, but they just don't know that they can do it?
I would say one, like never give up hope. Hope is such a strong thing. If there's a will, there's a way. I wasn't sure how I was going to help try to get my husband home, or if I was even going to be able to, but I never gave up the thought of, him coming home, being reunited with our family. So, there's people out there, if you're interested in criminal justice reform, there's many organizations out there that, are there to help support, to guide, to encourage.
Yeah.
I just hope and, there's no feat too small.
Yeah, I love that. And I was reminded even just in that, with God, truly all things are possible.
Yes.
He'll give you not only the grace and the strength, but the resources. I mean, especially if it's something that you sense you're supposed to do, he's already going to provide it and make a way for you to do it. So don't back down. Don't pull back. If you need someone in your corner to pray with you, we are here to do that with you. But again, we just have an example of a walking testament of what it looks like for someone to say, I'm going to do something about it. I don't know a whole lot about this, but this is my passion. This is my heart. I'm going to band together with people and we're going to make this thing happen. So let's make our phone calls tomorrow and on the 3rd. Let's contact our legislators and let's say we're in support of SB 300 and then support Fuel any way you can. But we want to thank you so much for coming and joining us tonight. A huge thank you again to you, Sutina, for just being who you are.
I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
been
Thank
wonderful
you.
having you. Yeah.
Thank
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Thank you guys. Okay. Well, we love you. Have an incredible week. And we'll see you next week. Next week. Yeah, next week on Anything Live. Don't forget National Sisters Day and National Friendship Day. Okay. If you don't remember any of the other foods, it's fine. But sisters, your sister, you said, was a huge support system for you and your family. So let's remember to love our family and have a great week. Be on the lookout for that new thing that's awaiting just for you. And we'll see you next week on Anything Live.
Are you ready?